All right, good morning, everybody. It is Thursday.
Good morning.
Beautiful day here.
Mm-hmm.
And that book there. Today, Jesus tells the parable of the king's 10 servants. Luke chapter 19, starting at verse 11. The crowd was listening to everything Jesus said, and because he was nearing Jerusalem, he told them a story to correct the impression that the kingdom of God would begin right away. He said, a nobleman was called away to a distant empire to be crowned king and then return. Before he left, he called together 10 of his servants and divided among them 10 pounds of silver, saying, invest this for me while I'm gone. But his people hated him and sent delegation after him to say, we don't want him to be our king. After he was crowned king, he returned and called in the servants to whom he had given money. He wanted to find out what their profits were. The first servant reported, Master, I invested your money and made 10 times the original amount. Well done, the king exclaimed. You're a good servant. You have been faithful with the little I entrusted to you, so you'll be governor of 10 cities as your reward. The next servant reported, Master, I invested your money and made 5 times the original amount. Well done, the king said. You will be governor over 5 cities. But the third servant brought back only the original amount of money and said, Master, I hid your money and kept it safe. I was afraid because you are a hard man to deal with, taking what isn't yours and harvesting crops you didn't plant. You wicked servant, the king roared. Your own words condemn you. If you knew that I am a hard man who takes what isn't mine and harvests crops I didn't plant, why did you deposit my money in the bank? At least I could have gotten some interest on it. Then turning to the others standing nearby, the king ordered, take the money from this servant and give it to the ones who has 10 pounds. But master, they said, he already has 10 pounds. Yes, the king replied, and to those who use well what they are given, even more will be given. But from those who do nothing, even what little they have will be taken away. And as far as these enemies of mine who didn't want me to be their king, bring them in and execute them right here in front of me. Now the commentary. The people still hope for a political leader who would set up an earthly kingdom and get rid of Roman domination. Jesus' story showed that his kingdom would not take this form right away. First, he will go away for a while, and his followers would need to be faithful and productive during his absence. Upon his return, Jesus would inaugurate a kingdom more powerful and just than anything they could expect or imagine. This story showed Jesus' followers that they were to do what they were to do during the time between Jesus' departure and his second coming. Because we live in that time period, it applies directly to us. We have been given excellent resources to build and expand God's kingdom. Jesus expects us to use these talents so that they multiply and the kingdom grows. He asks each of us to account for what we do with his gifts. While awaiting the coming of the kingdom of God in glory, we must do Christ's work. Why was the king so hard on this man who had not increased the money? He punishes the man because 1. He didn't share his master's interest in the kingdom. 2. He didn't trust his master's intentions. 3. His only concern was for himself. And 4. He did nothing productive with the money. Like the king in the story, God has given you gifts to use for the benefit of his kingdom. Do you want the kingdom to grow? Do you trust God to govern it fairly? Are you concerned for others' welfare as you are for your own? Are you willing to use faithfully what God or what he has entrusted to you?
I guess this can lead to the old saying, use it or lose it type thing.
Yeah.
Because he gives us gifts. We each have gifts.
Yeah.
They're unique and special to us. And God designs it that way so that we can work together with others to form all the needs that are needed to be met.
Yeah.
Your gift to be different from mine and so forth.
Yeah.
But if we don't use our gifts, if we just sit on them,
Mm-hmm.
then it's not a benefit to anyone, even ourselves.
Yeah, that's true.
We're supposed to be good stewards with not only our money and time, but also the gifts that He gives us.
Yeah.
Which is money and time as well.
Yeah.
You know?
I wish the commentator here would have expounded more on, like, a lot of people misinterpret what he says there at the end, bring them in front of me and kill them in front of me.
Yeah.
And, you know, he's talking about an earthly king. He's not talking about himself.
Right.
You know, and he's taking what we as humans would do, you know, and try to help us figure out what he's really, his intentions are in the kingdom. But your point is what he's trying to get of. If you do it, he'll give you more to do.
Right.
If you don't do it, you yourself have lost, because even as you and I know just from doing this, as we go through this book, and this book commentates on what we read and we expound on what we see, you know, it teaches us just as more as it teaches everybody else.
Oh, I think always the teacher learns more than the student, no matter what you're doing. And I don't know that you would call us teachers, but us reading and studying is
right.
We always learn.
Yeah. And I think the whole thing about you know, when he goes off and says, you know, I'm going to be our people come and say we don't want him to be our king, those are definitely the unbelievers. Right. They don't want Christ.
And you know, as you're saying that, the ones that don't want him to be king, they're the ones that he ordered to be put to death.
Yep.
And the ones that don't want Jesus to be king and reject the Christ as the Son of God, those are the ones that are going to be put to death to hell.
Yeah.
So, you know, the correlation is still there on a heavenly example too.
Yeah.
Because he's not putting to death the servants. He's putting to death the ones that don't want him king.
Yep. It's true. Okay. Hope everybody has a glorious day, and we'll talk to you later.